I'm excited to talk to my colleagues here. We're all colleagues. One thing we have in common, a lot of us, is that we work for the government. I actually love working for the government. As was stated, I was a professor for a long time. That was great, and it was a great experience. And then I had the opportunity to come back into the government, which I did. We all have a unique mission, right, for the government. We have to somehow fulfill the preamble to the Constitution in some way. And so, I actually took a little note so I wouldn't forget. So in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty. So in the Department of Commerce, we started in 1913. President Taft actually started us. We're the Economic Growth Organization. So in this, we promote the general welfare to expand commerce and industry throughout our nation. And we've heard a lot about IT modernization and data. My organization within the Department of Commerce is the National Technical Information Service. And what we do is we use innovation to promote economic growth. And we do this through a unique authority that we have, which is 15 U.S.C. 3704B. And within this authority, we have the ability to bridge the gap between government agencies and the private sector without using the FAR, the Federal Acquisition Register. So we use innovation techniques. And in my role, I'm the first person in my role, Associate Director for Data Services. I'm the lead technical person at my organization, and I have a team of data scientists under me. And I use the term data scientist as a broad term, okay? So we've all heard data engineers and data analysts and data scientists. So I'm just going to use the term data scientist to encompass it all. One of the issues I faced when I came to the Department of Commerce to start up this new directorate of data scientists was that there's no job code for data scientists, right? There's no job code. And so I needed to hire data scientists, but not data scientists like that would actually get in there and do the ingestion of the data and make code. I needed senior level people that understood data, how to use data best, and how to work with other government agencies to help with IT modernization and data science needs. So I thought about it. The group that I had when I came in, they gave me a team. The team's great, but there are 2210s. And I did a little gap assessment of skills, and I realized I need other skills, right? I needed some skills that the 2210s could not provide. So I decided to hire, for the HR people, 1550s, which are computer scientists, and 0854, which is computer engineers. And meanwhile, just happened, my sister organization in the Department of Commerce, which is Census, was starting with OPM to look at this problem of making the job code for data scientists. So I'm on this task force, and maybe some of you are too, that we started to meet last week and define what is a data scientist and what should be in the skills code and that kind of thing. So it's pretty interesting that when I started to look at all the different job codes out there, and HR people, you would know this a lot more than me. But from data.gov, I obtained that there's 23 federal job groups, and there's 421 federal job series. And with speaking with different people at OPM, a lot of these series have very few people in them, like a whole bunch. So then you start thinking, well, if we make a data science code, is that going to be data science someday? Is it going to be like maybe shorthand person? I don't know if that's a code, but someday will this be obsolete? And so then I started looking through the little group of all the job series, and I found a data transcriber. That was the only thing that was like data-ish, which is a 356, but there's no data scientist, of course. And it was interesting when I further went into this data transcriber, there's only 2,250 data transcribers, and they all appear to be like GS4s in the IRS. So I'm sure that they're just entering data and not true data scientists. So I put out an ad for the 0854s and the 1550s. And the first time I put it out, I didn't get a good group of quality candidates. And I believe it's because I put it out around Thanksgiving time. That's my thought. And so the second time I put it out, very good group. And I had a good selection committee. My CIO was sitting here, Allison McCall. She was on it, and I had other people on the selection committee, and we went through the candidates, and we picked a few good candidates, and they were hired. So I lucked out that way. But the other issue we have with the data science, trying to hire data scientists, is that there's no, within the government, you see data scientists at these different organizations, but sometimes the organizations try to hire data scientists that are experts in that mission. So like HHS, maybe biologists. They really want biologists with data science knowledge. And other agencies are like this too. And then like I said, I had the 2210s, which are really from IT that kind of merged over. So you get this really vast grouping of skills, right? So if you say you're a data scientist from one organization, you may not have the same skills as another. And as we go forward and we start to think about this, we have to think, when you're hiring your data scientist, what do I want? Do I want somebody who knows my area, my discipline? Or do I want a more generic data scientist that I can apply to different groups around my organization? So those are totally two different ways of thinking. Another issue we have is there's all these programs popping up about data scientists, but there's no accreditation, right? So my degrees are they're all A-BET accredited, right? And I can say, oh, that's good. And so everybody kind of knows what that is, and there's a standard. But there's no standard for data scientists right now. So what's going to happen as time goes on? I mean, maybe there will be accreditation at some point, but we get this very vast parts of skills that are, you can't really define it too well. So in my job, I not only hire, but I have a good team. And we work, as I said, with different government agencies. And one of the agencies we work with is the Department of Energy, National Nuclear Security Agency. And in this agency, what they brought to the table, what they brought to us was said, you know what, we have all these experts in nuclear science and nuclear power, what have you, and we're losing them, right? Because according to OPM in 2017, over 45% of the government workforce is age 50 or over, and they see these people walking out the door. Now we could say, okay, we'll hire some new people, right? We'll get a new person in, but the person leaving me to have 30 or 40 years, this new person coming in only has 10 years, right, experience? Well, is that a one-for-one? You go, no, that's not a one-for-one. The person with 30 years experience is walking out the door. Although it's great to have the new person come in, we all started, at some point, we were the new people. It becomes a challenge for the organization. You have all these subject matter experts, these SMEs, walking out the door, and that's gonna be a problem, and it's gonna be a problem as we go forward. So how can we alleviate this? We must use AI, right? We must use AI. We must get that knowledge from our SMEs, subject matter experts, before they walk out the door, right? We have to be able to incorporate this, use our data science skills, data analytics, and gather as much information. So that's what we're doing right now. My bureau, NTIS, is working with DOE and NSA to leverage the knowledge of retiring subject matter experts efficiently, along with some other challenges that the organization has. And we will use a consistent approach to data collection and dissemination across all the NNSA sites to allow DOE to use data analytics and visualization to proactively answer questions and better understand, communicate, and manage risks. All right, so that's one way. Now, it's interesting, the DOE and NSA gave me this strategic plan. It's a strategic integrated roadmap, and it was for the years 2020 to 2044. And I thought, first of all, I don't know where I'm going to be at 2044, but I probably won't be working where I am. And I thought, wow, that's really forward thinking, right? This organization is really going good. But they do have a point. We're all going to be replaced by someone, and we need to be able to give our knowledge to that next person coming up. We need to, like I said, gather the information, have it in a way that they can use it and continue the mission without us. So another organization that we work with is the Department of Defense Joint Artificial Intelligence Center. Sorry, Jake. The Joint Artificial Intelligence Center. And when the JAIC came to us, it was a new organization. As you know, the JAIC just started maybe in 2018, I want to say. And they started, and it's basically an organization where they're pulling from other parts of the DoD. And they came to us and said, you know, we have some mission problems. One is we need a cadre of experts. We don't have enough people in our staff to handle these AI issues, right? We just don't have the expertise. We have the skills gap that I talked about before. So we've been working with the JAIC on the cadre, forming a cadre of experts. The second problem they had is RPA, which was discussed earlier, robotic process automation. And the other one is cyber sensing. So we've been working with the JAIC on these different issues, using AI and data analytics to help with their workforce needs so that they can continue the mission, the new mission of garnering all the AI within the DoD and then being able to capitalize on all their work. So we've worked with other organizations as well. And another thing to remember when we're working with these organizations, people said, oh, everybody's going to be a data scientist in some way. And they may be true, but we can't stop the mission of the work. We can't make people sit at the computer if that's not their job, right? So we work with HHS and other organizations which needs operatives in the field. We can't have them tied to a desk. They must be out and around. So again, we need the best AI we can, given our resources, and then use that to help further the mission of these different organizations. So we've discussed data scientists. The problems with data science, one is there's no accreditation for any of the programs. Second one, there's no job code. Third, the organizations are hiring in all different ways and manners, like I just told you I did. I hired 1550s on 0854s, and I had the 2210s, which is IT personnel, in my organization to begin with. And the main thing is that we have a limited amount of resources, right? So sometimes it's kind of sad sometimes when you do your online banking and it's easier than the system you use in your job. But we have a limited resources. That's what it is. We can't hire all the people we want. We can't have all the money we want. You know, we have these limitations on our resources, right? So given those limitations, the best way we can counter it is through AI, right? And the data, facing our data challenges. One of the things that we do in my organization and why I like it so much is that given this congressional authority, we're revolutionary, not evolutionary. We use innovation, again, to promote economic growth throughout the nation. We have a separate authority. We can work with the government sector. We can work with private industry. And we're not bound to contracts, but instead agreements, which allow for changes without contract modifications. And the only issue is that we just do innovation. So once it becomes O&M, we must transfer it over to the FAR at some point, and then we help that organization do that work. But as long as there's innovation, we can continue to work it. So in closing, a little short, but in closing, I just want to leave you with these concerns that I have about how we're going to go in the future, about addressing these issues that we have with the, the data science core overall, how we're going to deal with this as a government going forward, and what our workforce should look like in the future. So thank you for having me, and I appreciate your time and attention.